Okay, today I'm going to talk to you guys about certain tropical plants that are more cold hardy, and you could grow outside all the way up here to zone 6B, zone 7A, right around that area. The first one I want to talk to you about is a plant I really love. You know, it has delicious fruits, and not only that, it has really great ornamental value. A lot of people grow them as bonsai trees, and that is the jaboticaba tree, or jaboticaba, right here. And this one I actually bought online. I saved it from a disease. See, it had some foliage dying right there. Took most of it off and used the Actinovate, the foliar spray, antifungal spray on it, and it saved it. And these guys, they're actually hardy down to about 20 degrees. I know in Florida, I think one record low down there in like Tampa, I think, Central Florida. I know there's about a 3-year-old jaboticaba tree that survived an 18-degree winter. And like I told you guys before, up here, it actually did not get below around 30 degrees last winter here. But of course, you know, as far north as this, the conditions are always going to vary. You know, you could be growing one outside that one year. You'll have to protect it, you know, every day of the winter. You could go a couple winters, not have to protect it at all because, you know, with the climate change, it's not getting below, you know, say 25 degrees. And the jaboticaba can definitely handle that. Now, I can handle it as long as it's, you know, a healthy tree, you know, fertilized well, you know, given the right nutrients, micro and macronutrients, you know, nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, calcium, sulfur, you know, magnesium, everything that it needs. Then it could definitely have a good chance. But, you know, besides the jaboticaba tree, another one of my favorite fruits is this is the ice cream banana tree, and it is cold hardy down to actually I think about 10 degrees or so. Maybe it's about 15, but I know it's a little bit hardier than the jaboticaba tree. I know people have had success growing these all the way up to you know, Chicago and Illinois and Ohio, you know, further a couple hundred miles north of here. So definitely, you know, if you live all the way up to Kentucky, you know, if you live in Missouri, you know, northern Texas, you know, parts of the Midwest, you know, you could grow things like the ice cream banana. And I've heard that it has, of course I haven't tried them yet, this is my first time growing one, but it has grown really, really fast. It was just a little sprout when I first got it, and just in a few weeks it's grown about like 4 inches, I believe. Sprout out this new big leaf right here. And bananas, you can only harvest their fruits one time, from what I know. And then after that one time, you're going to have to let the suckers pop up and grow in their place. And then you can either keep the banana tree around, or you can just take it down, you know, to save on space in your yard. But besides the ice cream banana tree, the jaboticaba tree, another one that's pretty cold hardy, it's not as cold hardy, is the cherimoya tree right here. Now, this is one of the, I believe, the second cold hardiest known of fruits besides the pawpaw. And the pawpaw is the only North American known of fruits that is related to the sugar apple, or the cherimoya, or the soursop, or the Rollenia, the only one in that family up here. And it is actually hardy about to negative 20 or 30 degrees, I believe. But the cherimoya, I know it can survive frost down to about like 26, 27 degrees, I want to think. And you know, with protection, I'd say it could be grown all the way up to you know, central Georgia, maybe even southern Tennessee outside now with the, you know, with the climate changing the way it is and getting warmer. And I know South Florida, it's a little bit too hot for these guys because these guys like to be pretty cool. They like a little bit of coolness in the winter, you know, down to the 40s, because of course they are from the Andes in Peru, around there, and you know, the some of the southernmost parts of South America. So they're pretty good to grow in the cold. Not as good, as I said, as the jaboticaba or the ice cream banana. And another one besides that is certain species of passion fruit. I've done several videos about passion fruits, and they are definitely one of my most favorite fruits. And the hardiest passion fruits there are, passion flowers, is this one. And this is one of the few North American varieties that grow above Mexico. This is the Passiflora incarnata, or the maypop passion flower. And these guys are hardy all the way up to about zone 5A, I believe. And what that means for these guys is that they will lose all their vegetation, they'll die back, but their roots can survive all the way down to about -15, -20 degrees, I believe. And really, any colder than that, and you run the risk of killing them for sure. But they definitely can be grown, you know, like I said, all the way up, you know, past Ohio, Michigan, around there. And especially here in Kentucky, you know, at the edge of zone 7, they could be grown without protection in the winter for sure. And they should be able to keep most of their foliage. And another one besides that, besides the Passiflora incarnata, is a little bit less cold hardy, but it's a more exotic, more tropical cold hardy species of passion fruits. And that is this Passiflora actinia. And I just got these seeds in from eBay not too long ago. I'm definitely going to start growing these for next spring. And from what I've heard about these, I'm actually thinking about planting one on this trellis right here, on this little fence. Planting it maybe down here and letting it grow all the way across towards my Passiflora edulis plants over here. And the Malliformis and incarnata. You know, add some really nice ornamental, beautiful flowers to it. And not only does Passiflora actinia, you know, make some great fruit and great flowers, it is pretty cold hardy as well. I know it's cold hardy down to about 20 degrees, I believe. So it's a pretty good species to pick if you live, again, in, you know, southern, central Georgia. You know, if you live all the way up here to zone 7, you could grow it outside, you know, with, you know, given that some winters you might have to protect a little bit more than others. You know, if you get a day it goes down to 20 degrees, even though they're said to be cold hardy down to 20, you definitely don't want to take the risk. You know, you want to go ahead and cover them up, you know, make sure they don't die back, or make sure, you know, you don't kill your plant for sure. And another species of passion fruit that is pretty cold hardy, and like the cherimoya, it is from the Andes region as well, is banana passion fruit, or Passiflora mollissima, or mollissima, whatever you want to call it. And they make huge fruits, huge delicious fruits. Their flowers are not as showy, but they're still pretty cool. And another one that's closely related to Passiflora actinia is a super rare one you guys probably not heard of, even if you really like growing passion fruit, is Passiflora elegans. Yeah, E-L-E-G-A-N-S. And they look a lot like Passiflora actinia. They're actually even a little bit more cold hardy. They are good down to about 15 to 18 degrees, what I've heard. they can take down to 20 degrees, you know, for a good little while without any damage. And they make small yellow fruits, and they're really delicious as well. I heard they taste a little bit like grapes, and they're almost not sour at all. They're almost a completely sweet type of passion fruit. And so yeah, those are a few cold hardy varieties of passion fruits. Because I know some of you guys who live above, you know, Florida, Southern California, you know, above the Bay Area, wherever, you guys might think that you can never grow tropical fruits where you're at, or you can never grow passion fruit, or you can never grow annona fruits, or you can never grow jaboticabas. But, you know, you definitely, you know, can't just stick to that mind frame. You know, I'm not doing this, you know, so I can be a pioneer. You know, I'm not, you know, saying that all these plants are going to do really well, you know, all the way up here to zone 7. All I'm saying is that there's a possibility to grow them. You know, not that they're going to thrive, you know, like they would in their natural environments or in a subtropical area, you know, Florida, wherever. But definitely, you know, don't just always stick to the book. You know, take some chances. You know, find out for yourself, you know, what can be grown where, you know, what you want to try to grow. And who knows, you could end up being a pioneer, you know, and you could totally, you know, amaze some people that said that, you know, that those types of fruit cannot be grown, you know, as far north as like here in Kentucky. And besides those few, another couple are, I know persimmons are pretty cold hardy. There's actually an American persimmon. I'm not sure if it's originated in the U.S. or if it was brought over to the U.S., you know, hundreds of years ago or whatever, and then they just took the name from it. I'm not too sure about that, but I know American persimmons, they're cold hardy down to about, I think like -10 degrees, -15, and another really great fruit that is super cold hardy as well are fig trees, like this brown turkey fig tree here. Has some really nice dark leaves, really healthy. And I just recently started spraying this with neem oil and Castile soap. And it is a really great organic insecticide. And not only that, it's I heard it's supposed to help the immune system of different plants, of pretty much all plants, the neem oil, and a few other things as well. And so I've told you guys about several fruits that can, you know, grow, you know, outside with protection or without protection, all the way up to zone 7, where I'm at. The some of the annona fruits, the pawpaws, the cherimoyas, jaboticabas, a few different types of passion fruits, and another one is our goji berries. And this is actually my first harvest of goji berries. I just had a few, but they were pretty good. Now, I've eaten a lot of dried goji berries, and I gotta say I really prefer them dried. Undried, they taste kind of like a green pepper. They actually have like a lot of peppery taste to them, so definitely like those dried. And they can also take some really cold winters as well, down to about 15 degrees or so, or maybe even colder than that, so I'm not too sure. And I had a couple of pawpaw trees I planted back here. I wanted to grow close together so they could pollinate each other several years down the line. But I think a rabbit or something has torn the top off, torn the top leaves off. You can see. So I don't know, maybe those will end up surviving and come back and sprout out some new vegetation next spring, I'm hoping. And so I hope you guys have found this video pretty cool. I know I've searched a lot of videos online when I was first starting off growing, figuring out what I could grow where I'm at, you know, especially what could take some cool winters. And I know I couldn't find a whole lot of information on it. That's why I just wanted to share with you guys a few different kinds. And, you know, like I said, you know, you never know until you're actually going to try to grow it yourself. So, you know, if somebody tells you, again, you know, that you can't grow something where you're at, you know, or it has to be grown in a container, of course, you know, if you're in some areas, like if you live in Detroit or you live in Canada, of course, you know, you're not going to be able to grow jaboticabas, ice cream, bananas, or cherimoyas where you're at. But, you know, there are several other things you can grow if you live in even colder areas. Like I said, the persimmons, American persimmons. I'm not too sure how hardy Fuyu and Haichia persimmons are. I know they're pretty cold hardy as well, but the pawpaw trees, let me think what else, you know, fig trees, of course. Pretty much all figs are good down to about 5-10 degrees Fahrenheit, around there. But anyways, just want to share with you guys that, give you guys some ideas possibly what you can grow in your area. And definitely just stick around and watch my next video. You know, gonna be talking about something else for sure. But anyways, happy gardening, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thanks.